When Candace Owens revealed she had uncovered unseen details from Meghan Markle's past, no one expected what followed. These weren't rumors about royal drama or fashion. They trace back to her college years, buried under silence, payoffs, and missing records. According to sources, it all began at Northwestern University, long before crowns and palaces. The elect scandal started with a sorority prank gone wrong. One version claims Meghan replaced eyelash glue with super glue, sending a sorority sister to the hospital. Some say she was suspended. Others insist she was expelled. What's certain is that Meghan disappeared from campus after the incident. No classes, no sightings, nothing. Months later, she reappeared, but everything about her seemed different. She no longer spoke of exams, but of yachts, wealthy foreign men, and a lifestyle no student could afford. From then on, her story evolved, her image reshaped. When she returned years later, the Meghan Markle the world met had a new persona, a polished resume, and, as Candace Owens suggests, perhaps an entirely rewritten past.
Northwestern University, the same institution where Meghan claimed to earn dual degrees in theater and international relations, quietly confirmed something startling. That degree never existed. The dual program she often mentioned, impossible to complete. Even her so-called graduation photos weren't taken on campus. Candace Owens' investigation didn't reveal a small mistake. It exposed a consistent pattern, one that began in college and echoed all the way to the palace. Sources from that time insist Meghan's disappearance wasn't just her skipping class, it was punishment. The alleged prank that sparked it all spiraled into chaos. According to whispers from alumni and private circles, during a sorority event, Meghan reportedly swapped eyelash glue with super glue. The outcome was devastating. Her sorority sister's eyes were sealed shut and she was rushed to the hospital. What began as a joke allegedly turned into a legal and disciplinary crisis. Some versions claim the girl temporarily lost her sight, while others say her parents prepared to sue the university.
One of the most dramatic versions claims Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, quietly paid around $200,000 to make the entire incident disappear. What stays consistent in every account is the fallout. Meghan was allegedly suspended or possibly expelled and ordered to stay off campus until the situation died down. For weeks, she vanished completely. No classes, no events, no trace of her at Northwestern. When she finally reappeared, rumors swirled that she wasn't meant to return until the victim graduated. But by then, Meghan never came back as a student. If true, she didn't just miss a semester, she lost her place altogether. That missing period could explain why her degree was never verified. A suspended or expelled student can't complete a dual major, graduate with honors, or walk the stage in university colors. It's a scandal buried so deep that no one dared to question it for years. Yet, as old cracks begin to surface, the pieces suddenly fit. After the sorority incident, Meghan didn't just disappear from campus. She vanished from the record entirely. No official leave, no statements, no trace of graduation. And for someone as image-conscious as Meghan, that silence is telling.
Meghan documented nearly every part of her life. School plays, auditions, family moments, yet there's nothing about her college graduation. No photos, no tagged classmates, no cap and gown memories. For someone so focused on image, that silence stands out like a missing puzzle piece. People close to her family claim Thomas Markle quietly intervened, covering not just tuition, but possibly hush money to bury the scandal. He had always been the quiet fixer, the man holding her world together while she built a new one. When the incident faded, so did that missing semester. From then on, Meghan reinvented herself, a woman who could casually say, "I went to Northwestern," without ever confirming she graduated. That's the trick. She never lied outright, just never finished the sentence. From that half-truth, an empire of image began to rise. When Meghan disappeared from campus, many assumed she took a short personal break. But weeks turned into months, and when she returned, her stories no longer sounded like college life. She spoke of yacht trips in the Mediterranean, lavish dinners, and encounters with men of wealth and influence. Sources close to her early social circle claim she became part of the notorious yacht scene, a floating playground where young women mingled with the rich and powerful. Some say it began as a paid invitation, and that's when everything about her world began to change.
People still debate what really happened during that time. Some call it networking, others something more secretive. Whatever the truth was, it opened a door most people her age never even knew existed. While her classmates were buried in books and pulling all-nighters before finals, Meghan was studying something else entirely, the art of presence. How to talk like she belonged among the powerful. How to dress, move, and carry herself like the woman every influential man wanted by his side. It wasn't education anymore. It was evolution. She was no longer chasing grades. She was building a persona. And when she finally returned to public life, the change was undeniable. The awkward student from Northwestern was gone, replaced by someone polished, practiced, and calculated, already auditioning for the biggest role of her life. That missing semester wasn't a setback. It was a rehearsal. By the time she reemerged, her narrative was perfectly scripted. She spoke of an impressive academic record, an diplomatic internship in Argentina, mastering Spanish in just 5 weeks, and earning dual degrees in theater and international relations. It sounded flawless. Too flawless. Because while the embassy internship did happen, insiders confirmed it was brief and mostly administrative. And as for fluency in Spanish, experts agreed impossible to achieve in 6 weeks inside embassy walls.
Then came the graduation photos, the ones that were supposed to end all speculation. But when they finally appeared, something didn't add up. The gown was off, simple black, not Northwestern's iconic blend of purple and black. There were no classmates in sight, no familiar campus buildings, no trace of any official ceremony. Whispers began to spread. Maybe the pictures weren't from Northwestern at all. Maybe they were taken somewhere else, carefully staged to seal the illusion. Because Meghan understood something most people never grasp. Once a photo exists, the lie becomes tangible. A single image can rewrite an entire story. And that's exactly what she did. Years later, those same details, the so-called dual degree, the embassy internship, the flawless Spanish, all reappeared, word for word on Buckingham Palace's official website. What began as a self-made myth had evolved into royal truth. The woman who may never have officially graduated was now celebrated globally as an academic success story. If Meghan crafted the narrative, the palace refined it. When she stepped into royal life, her past was rewritten in gold ink. Her official biography painted her as a proud Northwestern graduate, a scholar in both theater and international relations, a polished diplomat fluent in multiple languages. But the truth, Northwestern University confirmed no such dual degree ever existed, which meant something shocking. The royal family had unknowingly turned fiction into fact. When Buckingham Palace published Meghan Markle's biography, it wasn't a tabloid rumor. It was history being rewritten by the monarchy itself. It wasn't just a profile anymore. It was the official record of the British Crown, the highest and most carefully maintained archive in royal history. Every single line that appears there is reviewed, verified, and signed off by palace officials before it ever reaches the public eye. Which means one thing: the monarchy didn't simply repeat Meghan's story. They approved it. But why?
Because for the palace, image outweighed truth. Meghan wasn't just another royal addition, she was a public relations masterpiece, an American woman with elegance, education, and diplomatic grace, the perfect emblem of a modern monarchy. She symbolized diversity, intellect, and global appeal, all wrapped up into one flawless persona. And for an institution desperate to seem more human, more relatable, more progressive, Meghan Markle was the answer. So rather than question her story, they engraved it in gold. It's one thing for a Hollywood celebrity to stretch the truth, but when one of the world's oldest and most powerful institutions turns that stretch into scripture, it becomes something else entirely. By choosing to protect the myth, the palace didn't just endorse the illusion, they became part of it.
And for a while, it worked. The world believed in Meghan Markle, the brilliant, well-educated duchess who redefined what royalty could be. But behind the perfect image, the cracks were forming. Years later, quietly and without warning, something changed. No statement, no public acknowledgement, no royal press release. The Buckingham Palace website was silently edited. The reference to Meghan's dual degree, gone, erased without a trace. No correction, no apology, just disappeared. This wasn't some gossip headline being deleted. It was the British monarchy's own official record being quietly rewritten behind palace doors. No press release, no royal correction, just silence. Insiders began whispering that unease was spreading through the upper halls. How could Meghan's story have slipped through so easily? How did no one verify her degree? How did the crown itself become complicit in a fabrication? And then came that quiet deletion, the royal website stripped of her so-called dual degree. It said more than any statement ever could, because when the powerful are caught in uncomfortable truths, they don't admit it, they erase it. That single, silent edit was the palace's unspoken confession, the subtle acknowledgement that perhaps everything Candace Owens had hinted at wasn't conspiracy, but reality. The truth didn't roar, it whispered. It hid in plain sight, in the spaces between what was said and what was suddenly missing. The royal biography hadn't been corrected because of rumors. It was corrected because of records. Northwestern University had confirmed it. No such dual program ever existed. And with that revelation, the entire puzzle snapped into focus. The missing semester, the vanished records, the suspicious photos, and the impossible degree. Every piece of the illusion fell away, leaving one undeniable constant: Meghan's talent for storytelling, so powerful that everyone else believed it.
Because every lie needs an audience. And Meghan Markle, she'd had one from the very beginning. Her classmates who noticed her disappearance, the courtiers who trusted her word, and the world that wanted her fairy tale to be true. Millions once believed in the fairy tale, the duchess who defied the odds, the actress who became royalty. But when the spotlight dims and the applause fades, what remains? A missing semester, a questionable degree, a palace that turned fiction into fact, and a woman who turned deception into destiny. Because the real story was never about whether Meghan attended Northwestern. She did. It's about what she built upon that truth, how she took fragments of reality and sculpted them into a narrative powerful enough to rewrite her future. For years, that version of her life was untouchable. Critics were silenced. The monarchy itself validated her story. But time always strips away illusion. Now, the world isn't seeing the duchess or the icon. They're seeing the scaffolding behind the myth, the blueprint of control that held it all together. Because Meghan's greatest talent wasn't acting, it was commanding the narrative. Control over her image,
control over her truth, control over what the world believed. And for a long time, we all did. But illusions don't collapse with scandal or headlines. They fall quietly, through one missing record, one silent edit, one confirmation email from a university that changes everything. When Buckingham Palace deleted that line about her dual degree, it wasn't just a small correction. It was the quiet collapse of an empire of image. Candace Owens didn't invent this story, she exposed it. A journey that began in a college sorority and ended in the halls of Buckingham Palace. A story where one missing semester became the missing truth behind Meghan Markle herself. Because in the end, it wasn't the tabloids or the critics that shattered the illusion. It was the crown. When the palace erased her degree, they erased the myth. And that's the truth about lies. They can build kingdoms, but never keep them standing.
So now, one question echoes through the silence. If a lie built an empire, how far can the truth go?